Good morning, everyone. I am Mudram from Assistant Professor Department of Civil Engineering at PSN College of Engineering and Technology. Today we are talk about mechanics of materials for BE Civil Engineering third semester. So first we are discuss about the objectives of course. The students to learn the fundamental concept of stresses and strain and deformation of solid materials with the application of bars, beams and thin cylinders and knowing the mechanism of load transfer in beams and also understand the effect of torsion and sound. After the undergoing the students to learn the concept of stress and strain. So these are very important to our civil engineering students as well as mechanical students. In this slide, the introduction of mechanics of material. First, we know the what is mechanics of materials. The mechanics of material is the branch of applied mechanics that deals with the behavior of solid bodies subjected to the various load conditions. Here, the word various load conditions means like point load, uniformly distributed load, uniformly varying load. That load are applying to the any body or any object or any elements, the body will tends to move the one direction to another direction or displaced to the another direction. It's the branch of applied mechanisms. Apply the some laws. So these are the mechanics of materials. In another way, to study the behavior of solid materials, especially the motion. The motion is nothing but the body will move or rest conditions. So the deformation under the action of forces, here the forces which means the external, apply the external forces or internal forces to be considered with the temperature changes and other external or internal agents. It's another way of mechanics of materials we are defined. The application of mechanics of materials for the civil engineering students to design the foundations and the structures, especially to design the RC structures. So these are the main concept. The students know the stress and strain concept. After that, they apply the conditions to here. In geoinformatics, to make the model shape of plant tectonics and prediction of earthquakes. So these are the application of our civil engineering. In general, the mechanical engineer to design the load bearing component for vehicle power generation and the transmission. So these are the basic introduction about the mechanics of materials. This mechanics of materials in another way said the solid mechanics. So the figure shows some example of solids. The solids are contain three matters: solids, liquids, and gases. So these are the solid examples of pencil, snow, apple, bicycles. These are the solid materials. And liquids also drinking like the liquid fluidity that the material for liquid things. Then gases, wind, air, hot air or balloon, wind farm. These are the sample of our solids, liquids, and gases for three states are present in the solids content. So next slide is load. What is load? So the load is nothing but give some external force to any object or any body or any element. That element will move the any direction or any displacement or any deformations the body will occur. So why we are applying the force? Once the object is resting conditions, it's moving to another place, which means we are applying this some forces, give some energy to the particular object. So the object will move the one direction to another directions. So that is called as a force. So for example of force, weight, pressure from wind and water. So these are the example of force loads. So the loads are classified into two types. One is static load, then another one is dynamic loads. In static loads, the object will be rest conditions. There is no external load. So the object will only, the internal forces only acting on particular body. So that is stable. That is called as a static load. In another one is dynamic load. The dynamic load is nothing but move or changes. If you are give some force to the particular object, the object will move the another directions. So moving conditions. So these are the dynamic load, for example of car crashing, bridge, oil in pipelines. So these are the give some forces, or we are applying the load to the particular object. So these are the dynamic loads. So these are some pictures I show that here one rod is fixed to the floor drum. If you are applying the one, the both ends are free. One end is are loaded and another one load is free. So if you are applying the force, give some opposite directions. So the body will some react. So these are the load example for loads. Next one is deformal bodies. What is deformal bodies? In mechanism, any body that change its shape or volume will acted upon any kind of external force. If you are give some force, the body will tends to move any directions, that change the volume or change the shape or size, anything. So that is the deformal body. If you are not applying the load, the body will stable the original shape only. Here give some pictures, the sample to you, the like clay, spring. So these are the deformal materials. The next one is rigid bodies. What is rigid body? A rigid body, one of it is an idealization of body that does not deform or any shape. Formally, it is defined as a collection of particles with the property that the distance between particles remains unchanged during the course of motion of the body. All the bodies deform as they move. So what is rigid body? Is that stable body. If you are applying the load or anything, the body will tend to do not move or do not change the shape. So that is called as a rigid body. So if the particle collecting the all the materials the contain the present in the rigid body, there will the no movements. So these are the rigid body material. Give some I will give show the some figure for rigid bodies like glass, stones, plastic cups, diamonds, wood, bricks. So these are metals. So these are the rigid bodies. If you are applying the load to the particular body, the body will only the break or crack movement will be occur. Otherwise, the body will be totally collapsed. So if the body will not change the any shape, if you are applying the load, the body will not change the shape. So that is called the rigid body. So it the distance between the particulars remains unchanged during the course of motions. So unchanged during the course of motion, the body will combine the fully rest conditions. The body will move the tends to the another direction to the another way of directions. So that is the rigid bodies. The figure shows the basic example of rigid bodies. The next one is flexible body. So flexible body and rigid body is almost the same concept we are applying. The flexible body is defined as the ability to change to the bend or changes some shape. So that is the flexible body. An example of flexible body is being able to work whenever we want. So move or any do something, anything or any places. So we are understanding the concept of flexible body. Here the some figures I'm show to you, like leaves, fabric, rubber, leather, plastic, paper. So these are the flexible bodies. Just like you consider a one rubber band is the stable conditions. If you are applying the force or if they give some external forces, the rubber band will move. So the rubber band, what happened the rubber band? If you are applying the force, the rubber band will be elongated. If you stop the force, the rubber band come to the original shape. So if you are change the length to change the original length. So these are the flexible body. Understanding the basic concept. So it is applied for our beam elements or structures to the any foundations or concrete. If for the it is a very important to the our students. It is a rigid body, it is a flexible body, so those students can able to classify the what are the rigid body, what are the flexible body, what are the deformal bodies. So they understand the concept and understand the application of these materials, and also the students apply the forces to the particular body, the body what happened, what reactions, what are the find the reactions of that particular bodies. So that is the flexible body of mean materials. The next one is stress. In general term, what is stress? If you get some overload or any tension, if you have any trouble in your life, so it is a normal human beings. That means the stress in medicines, the body responds to the physical, mental or emotional pressure. The stress causes chemical changes in some body to our rise the blood pressure, heart rate and blood sugar levels. It may also lead to the feelings of anger and depression. Is a general term. So these are the basic as a human. We know the what is stress, what are the types of stress will come to or acting to our bodies. So it's a general terms. So in our materials and solid mechanics, what is stress? Stress is nothing but load per area. So is defined as the force experienced by the object which causes change in the object. So stress denoted by the sigma, which is equal to load per area. Here some give some three objects. Consider the first object. If you are in stress means if you are considering the any solid body, if you are applying the forces to the solid body, the if you are applying the forces to the solid body, the direction of forces to the inward the object. If you are compression forces, if you are tensile forces or shear forces or shear stresses, the forces will act on the body. In stress means the here if you are applying the consider any cube or cube in solid body, if you are applying the force, the force will apply to the body or object. The object will tends to move some places to the original shape, some extent to the length to be changed. So we are consider, so particular force act on a body, the area will be considered. So what we are applying the load, that load what happened, how much of area the load will be acted, so we consider. So that is called as a load. So simply say stress is nothing but load per area. So stress, it is calculated the any object. So the force will be applied to the beam or slab or any object or any cube. So the applying the force, the change in the original dimensions the particular object. So it is called as a stress. So here the formula for stress sigma is equal to force per area. Here letter sigma denoted as a stress, F for applying the force. If you are give some external force, that is force, then area means here the cross sectional area of particular element or particular object. Next one is types of stresses. What are the types of stresses? There are 6 types of stresses. First one is compression, tension, shear, bending, torsion, and each stresses affect on object in different way and is caused by the internal forces acting on the body or object. Here some show the some figures. If you are some crack formations will be occur. So what happened the picture, if you are applying the force, the material are breakdown, so it show that the crack formations may be occur. So these forces are applied to the particular body or particular object. The formation of forces to the equivalent to the one another to the another body. So it's a compression and tension, shear bending and torsion. So these are the basic types of stresses. It is only acting on the internal forces. Then if basically if any materials having the internal forces only, it is not visible to the particular object. If you are give some external force, we know the what are the load, we are predicting the load, what are the load we are applied, then stop the load, because the material will be breakdown. So we have stop the load to applying the particular object or particular bodies. So these are the types of stress figures. What are the tension? Next one is compression, and third one shear, bending, and torsion. If you are applying the force in tensile force, the force act towards the specimens or towards the object. So that is the tension force. In compression force, if you are applying the force inward the object or inward the element, so these are the compression. Next one is shear. If you are applying the force, the object will be move some sliding movement, so we calculate the angle, at the angle of the picture will be bend or etc. The next one is bending. If you are applying the bend if you are applying the load to the upward direction, the object will bend the downward and upward. If you are applying the force to the vertical directions, what happen, what are the reactions will be seen, that the pressure bending. Next one is a torsion. If you are applying to the load, for example, if you are applying the load to the steel bars, so we know that the twisting movement will be come to the particular bar. The bar will be rotated or twisted to the particular area. Then finally the break point will see that. So these are the sample picture of types of stresses. The tensile stresses. What is tensile stresses? Tensile stresses can be defined as the magnitude of force applied along an elastic rod, which is divided by the cross-sectional area of the rod in the direction perpendicular to the applied force, is nothing but, if you are applying the force, the figure first one tension, if you are applied the force, the line of action, if you are applying the load to the perpendicular to the object, consider the any element, if the horizontal direction, if you are applying the load to the vertical directions, the body will be move to the any directions. So that is the magnitude of force applied along with the elastic rod. If you are considering the elastic rod to apply the load to the elastic rod, which is divided by the cross-sectional area of the rod in the direction of perpendicular. So what happen, if you are applying the load, the direction will be considered to the direction the perpendicular to the applied force. If you are applying the force, the load will be perpendicular to the applied force. That means the tensile means the material is under tension, and that are a force acting on it trying to the stitched material. So the already we know the figure, the tension materials. Next one, compressive force. So compressive force is nothing but if you are applying the force to the particular material. In compressive stress, the force acting inward the materials. In tensile force, outward the force will be acted. The force will be outward of this specimen. In compression force, the force acting the inward to the particular the direction of the materials. In compressive stresses, the force will occupy the smaller volume. It is the line of action of forces. If you are applying the force to the material, if the line of action of forces to the, which means horizontal direction, if you are applying the load to the horizontal directions, so that is called as a compressive force. It causes the material to compress or shorten. If you are applying the load to particular element or particular object, what happened, the material will be compression or shortened to the original dimension to the changing dimensions. So that is called as the compressive stresses. The next one is shear stresses. Shear stresses force like tending to the cause deformation of a material by slipping along a plane or planes parallel to the imposed load. Here consider one object. So if you are applying the force to the, here consider some cube. Okay, if you are applying to the force, the cube will tends to another directions. So consider the L, M, N, O. So consider the L, M, N, O, the rectangular box, rectangular cube. If you are applying the load to the any direction or corner of the point O, so the body will tends to move the another directions. So this is called the shear stress. So what happened? If you are sliding the object, we consider the theta. So to find the angle, so we create the one new cuboid here, O dash, here N dash, that particular body. So we find the tensile of the forces. So these are the tensile forces, so sorry, shear stress. Force tend to the causes deformation of a material by slippage along a plane or planes parallel to the imposed stresses. So if you are applying the load, the body will tend to some deformations, we know that. So that is called as a shear stress. Next one is bending stresses. Here consider one element like the beam is length. If you are applying the load W, what happen? The beam will bend the any directions. If you are applying the load, the beam bend like that. So these are the bending stress. So if when a beam is subjected to the external load, shear force and bending moments develop in the beam. Therefore, a beam must resist these external shear forces and bending moments. The stresses caused by the bending moments are called the bending stress. So if you are applying the external load, here W means external load. We are consider the external load. The beam distance will consider the L. If you are applying the load to the beam will some bending like that. So these are the bending of particular beam. So we know the see that the bending what happened. So that is called as a bending stress. Next one is torsional stress. The torsional test, we must find the like iron rod. Okay, consider the here on iron rod. Imagine that if you are apply the load to the directions, if you are applying the load to the directions, the rod will be twisted moment, the bending here, the rod will, the iron rod is like that, twisting of bars. So the shear is produced when we apply the tension moment to the end of a shear about the axis, the known as the shear torsional stress. Like that, the axis will be twisted. The figure also you know that typical figure of the torsional stress. The steel rod is twisted. Here the bending moment will acted here. The bending moment will be acted. Shear stress will be acted here. So the bar will be automatically twisted. So that is called as the torsional stresses. The next one is train. It is we are already seen that the what is mechanics of materials, what are the applications of materials, then what is stress, what are the types of stress. So we are discuss about in previous slides. In this slide we discuss about what is strain. So what is strain is nothing but strain denoted as a letter E, which is equal to change in length by original length, that is called as a strain. So what is changing length, what is original length? Consider a beam. You are applying the force to the beam. The beam will, if you are applying the load to the beam, if you are any changes, so the total beam is length is L. The change of length is considered as del L. Here E is equal to del L divided by L. Here del means changing length. Sorry, del L which means changing length. Here L is equal to original length. So when you are applying a force on your body, it will undergo the deformations. So if I am applying the load to the body will some deformations will occur. We see that, and it is the length will increase or decrease. So if you are applying the load to the body, the length will be increase or decrease if any directions. The length increase when the force is tensile and decrease when the force is applied to the compressive force. So in this figure, if you are applying the load, that length will be increased. It is considered as a tensile force. So consider as a tensile force. If the length is decreased, the force will consider as a compressive force. So it is the ratio of change in dimensions to the original dimension is called the strain. So already I am saying that changing length by original length. So here discuss what is change in dimension divided by original dimension. It is called as a strain. So in this slide we know the what is the difference in this figure, what is strain. So consider this figure. It is the original volume, it is the original length of the figure. It is the length. If you are applying the force the both directions, the length will be increased. The length will be increased, which is denoted as del L. The original length is L. So which means the strain is denoted by the letter E, which is equal to change in length by original length. The next one is what is types of stresses. Types of stresses is nothing but there are two types. One is normal strain, then another one is shear strain. The normal strain is further classified into three types. First one is longitudinal strain, second one lateral strain, and third one is volumetric strain. The lateral strain is further classified into two types. First one is tensile strain, and second one is compressive strain. So first one is normal strain. So normal strain is nothing but is a normal strain occurs when a elongation of any object is in response to the normal stress. It's like the perpendicular to the surface and is denoted by the letter epsilon. A positive value corresponds to the tensile strain, while negative denoted as a compressive. We are already discussed if your length will be increased. If your length will be increased, the length will be increased, which means tensile force. The length will be decreased, which means compressive force. In previous slide we are discussed about. So consider any cuboid or any cylinder. So the original length is L. Next, if you are applying the load to the particular rod, the length will be increased in this figure. So it is denoted as a normal stress. So E is equal to del by L, which strain is nothing but changing length by original length. Then second one is shear strain. In shear strain, so in this figure we know that the normal strain will occur in this figure. In second figures, if you are applying the load, in first figures the dotted line denoted as if you are applying the load, the body will move to the length will be increased either left side or right side. In second figure denoted as if you are applying the force, the body will move the, if any sliding movements, if you are applying the force, the body will move the sliding movements. So consider like you find the theta, then here find the theta. So this is called as a shear strain. So shear strain is the ratio of displacement of an object original dimensions due to stress, and is the amount of deformation perpendicular to the given line rather than the parallel to it. So the shear strain measures how much a given deformation differs from a rigid deformations. So the ratio of the displacement to on the original object. So like displacement, consider the in figure 2, the difference between the figure 2. So if you are applying the load or you are applying to the force, the figure will be some changes, some deformations will we see that the from the original dimensions due to the stress we are applying the load. So we are applying the load, already we discussed about what is load, what is stress, which means load per area. So and is the amount of deformations, how much of deformations will occur in this figure. So we find the angle, so that is called as called as a shear strain. Next one is longitudinal strain. Its longitudinal is nothing but the line of action the force will acted in a particular body. You see that this figure, consider any bar or any beam, any object. So if you are applying the load here P, if you are applying the load to the direction of the line of action, if you are applying the load in the horizontal directions, so this is called as a longitudinal strain. When an object is an axial tensile load, there is an increase in length the body, but at the same time there is a decrease in the another dimension of the body at the right angle, the line of action of applied load. Thus the body have axial deformation and also deformation at a right angles to the deformation of the applied load, that is called as lateral strain. So in this figure the original length here, if you are applying the load to the horizontal directions, the body or this rod will some extended length we see that, which is denoted as a del L. It's the extension length. So longitudinal strain is equal to del L by L. So in this figure we consider the some rectangular, it is what are the changes we denoted as in this figure, we denoted as what are the changes in B dash, here BB. So in the dotted line denoted as B dash, the block line is original line is denoted as B. So these are the different figures in this. These are the cross section of this particular rod. So here L is equal to length of the body, then B is equal to tensile force acting on the body, then del L increase in the length of the body in the direction of P. If you are applying the force like P denoted as a P. So this is called as a longitudinal strain. Next one is lateral strain. See this figure, if you are applying the load like vertical direction, that means upward direction, next horizontal directions like left to right, then right to left, the both the directions we are shown this figure. In linear strain and lateral strain, in linear strain, the change in dimensions occur in the direction of applied load is called as a linear strain. So here the change in the dimensions occur in the direction of applied load is called as a linear strain. In lateral strains, the change in dimensions occurs in the direction perpendicular to the line of action. Here perpendicular means which are the force applied to the perpendicular directions, that means y directions. Here the occurs in the direction of applied load, which means the line of action. The line of action means this is what line of action. If you are applying the force in horizontal directions, so that is called as a linear strain. This is called as a lateral strain. Here linear strain E is equal to del L by L. Here del L we know that changing length. Here L is equal to length of the body. Then here E is equal to del B divided by B. Like we are applying the any tension or breadth or something distance or diameters. We are putting what are the values we are applied to the particular figure in this figure. So like that the denoted will be changed like tension, bending, deformations, the changing the dimensions. So these are the lateral strains. So it's the difference between the linear and lateral strains. The next one is volumetric strain. When a body is subjected to a system of forces, it undergoes some changes in its dimensions. In other words, the volume of body is changed. The ratio of changes in volume to the original volume is known as a volumetric strain. It is denoted as a del V divided by V. Here del V is equal to changing the volume, then V is equal to volumetric volume of the particular body. Consider if any object, here some molecules present here. If you are applying the load to the particular molecules, the atom will be produced. Then if you are applying the load, the molecules are increased or decreased. So the volume will be reduced or increased. So that is called as a volumetric strain. So when your body is subjected to a system of forces, it is some system of or combined forces is undergo some changes. So if you are applying the force to the particular object, the we see the what are the changes made by the particular object in it is dimensions. We denote as a dimension. If you are considered as a 2 meter, if you are applying the load, the body will some extend to the original load. So the changing dimensions will be like 2.5 or 3, which is imagined. So in other words, the volume of body is changed, the ratio of the change in volume in the original volume. So simply say the del V divided by V. So this is called as a volumetric strain. Next one is tensile and compressive strain. Tensile strain is the fractional increase in the length. Already we have discussed about increase in length is known as the tensile strain. If you are decrease in length, that is called as the compressive stress. So consider here, if any element, here applying the force to the element in figure 1. In figure 2, here the length is 3 meter. Here the original length is 3 meter. Then next the change in length is, here the dotted line is, so the here the dotted line is denoted by the change in length. Change in length denoted as a changing length. So here consider as a like 4 meter. So in this figure the dimension will be increased in figure 2. In figure 3, for applying the force the both directions, the original dimensions, the dotted line is considered as a, if you are applying the load to the particular body, so the dimension will be decreased. So here 2.5 meter, the original length is 3 meter. So here the 0.5 meter will be reduced, so automatically the length will be decreased. So it is called as a compressive stress. If your length is increase means what, tensile strength. So the tensile strength is the fractional increase in the object, epsilon is equal to del L by del naught due to the tensile stress. Next, the compressive strain is the fractional decreases in length of any object. Here del L by del naught due to the compressive stress. So this is called as a tensile strain and a compressive strain, as well as it is a difference between tensile and compressive strain. Next one is Poisson ratio. What is Poisson ratio? Is nothing but lateral strain by longitudinal strain. What is lateral strain? That is longitudinal strain. We have discussed about in previous slides what is longitudinal strain, what is lateral strains. So Poisson ratio is nothing but this is defined as the ratio of change in width per unit width of a material to change in its length per unit length as a result of strain. So here strain is nothing but changing length by original length. So that is called as a strain, which stress means load per area. Load per area. So in this figure, if you are applying the load to the line of action to the particular element or particular object or particular bar, okay, so this is the applying the load to the longitudinal directions, that is called as a longitudinal strain. If you are applying the load to the particular rod in the vertical directions to the upward, so the automatically, if you are applying the load to the beam, the automatically the opposite reactions will be considered. So these are the Poisson's ratios, defined as the ratio of change in width per unit width of a material, change in the length. So if you are applying the load, it is occupy the particular area. If you are applying the load, the occupy the particular area, the width will be increased or decreased. So that is denoted by the lateral strain and longitudinal strain. So simply say that the Poisson ratio is nothing but lateral strain by longitudinal strains. It is denoted by a letter mu. Okay, thank you.